Now, a system has been created by researchers that quickly identify atrocities in Ukraine using social media. It's hoped that the project will help to reveal areas of human rights abuses, humanitarian needs and trace the displacement of people. Well, Dr. Olga Onuch is a Ukrainian senior politics lecturer from the University of Manchester, and she joins us now. Olga, very good to see you this morning. First of all, most importantly, how are your family and friends in Ukraine? I hope they're all safe.
Yes, my family and friends are safe. Thank you for asking. It's been an incredibly difficult time.
So tell me about this amazing innovation that you've come up with.
Well, it's not just me. It's an amazing group of 4 different labs across 4 different universities in the United States and in the United Kingdom. I'm proud to say University of Manchester playing a key role here. And essentially, it was a result of goodwill and a lot of very nerdy, tech-savvy, competent people coming together and using their different skill sets to do something good where it seems that so little can be done. So we put together our technical expertise around Twitter and disinformation and following big data events. That's 2 labs at the University of Maryland and at Duke University with Ernesto Calvo and Eric Wibbles heading. And UNC Chapel Hill, headed by Graham Robertson, brought in a team of regional experts. And then here I came in with a really big team of Ukrainians, native speakers of Ukrainian, such as myself, who were able to identify key terms and really the living language of how these things are reported in social media in order to perfect the tracing and algorithm of these incredibly difficult events and really tragic circumstances. Yes.
And very interestingly, I mean, almost immediately as you set to work on it, you were able to identify situations. For example, there was an attack by Russian troops on peaceful protesters in Kherson on the 2nd of March, I believe. I mean, you identified that extremely quickly.
Yeah, so it's really incredible. We follow a verified number of Twitter accounts, about 450, that tweet in 3 different languages, and we identified 600 different terms that might be able to catch displacement or human rights abuses, atrocities now, and civil resistance. And we're pretty confident. We've been doing some verification over the last weeks before we went out into the media, into the world to tell people what we are able to do. We're pretty confident we're able to predict major events occurring about 3 to 4 hours before the media picks up on it. So essentially, international organizations, policymakers, analysts of different kinds can turn to our website and see where there are major events occurring and in which categories they're occurring. The event you're referring to actually occurred on March 24th in Kherson. After several weeks of nonviolent protest by locals against the Russian occupation of their town, they were met with point-blank fire. And we were able to see that spike occurring again about 3.5 hours prior to any media in Ukraine and internationally reporting on it. So it is an early alarm to things happening on the ground, and we are presenting it there on the website for Machine Learning for Peace at Duke.
And this is also presumably being shared with the forces in Ukraine.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We've been sending information about our project, including key events, to folks that we talk to, whether it's in international organizations, the UK government. I've shared with different MPs this information, the IOM, UNHCR, but also people within the presidential administration. We alerted them to the fact that we are collecting this data, that the data is live, updated every 3 hours, including overnight, by our team across these universities, and that we also provide more extensive, detailed reports with some analysis and identifying patterns. But yes, any moment of the day, you can check the website to see not only what is happening, is there a particular major event of displacement or human rights abuses occurring, but also where it's happening. We have a map that geolocates all of the major events. And not using the geolocation function of Twitter, that's important to note. We actually go one step better and we code the mentioned localities in the actual tweets, confirmed in photographs and in the text, and then we put them on a map for all of you to see.
Olga, is there a danger that the Russians could get wise to this and potentially start setting up fake Twitter accounts and creating false flags to try and trick you?
Well, I think the Russians are already doing this, as you yourself have reported on it in the past weeks. That would not be new. The great part about such an amazing collaborative project is that it includes people like, as I said, Ernesto Calvo, who has studied disinformation, misinformation in his lab for years now, and he's been studying disinformation across Latin America, but also across other regions around the world. And so what we do as region or Ukraine experts, we identify the low and high quality Twitter accounts in the first instance. He is able to then identify networks or communities of these accounts and the nodes around which they group. And we are able very quickly to tell which accounts are spreading what sorts of information, how, and to whom. And because of the patterns and longstanding research that he's done, we can quickly identify when this is a disinformation or misinformation campaign, in fact. And we already know which accounts are tied to Russian misinformation, disinformation. That is the next thing that we hope to be able to make public on our website very shortly. We have a list, a rolling list of key misinformation, disinformation accounts and sources.